Hey you guys, I am going to do this as quick as I possibly can because as you can see, I'm telling you, daylight savings and the time changing, it just stinks. Like who wants it to be this dark at 3:30 in the afternoon? But we are hitting that time of the year where literally it's like the shortest day of the year. I think it's coming up. I think it's like December 20th. So what are you gonna do? We're just gonna make it work. But I wanted to come on here because, fellas, this pertains to you too, but right now I really just wanna have a conversation with my ladies because, ladies, we have got to start respecting ourselves a little bit more. So let's go over everything that you need to be a self-respecting woman. I want you to really think of yourself in a high regards. I want you to really value yourself and what you bring to the table and who you are. And the only way you can do that is when you fully accept who you are. A woman who really respects herself, because here's the thing, obviously we know this, if you don't respect yourself, no one else is going to. You are going to be manipulated, you're going to be taken advantage of, and that's what we're trying not to have happen. We don't want to be in relationships with crappy people. We don't want to take less than. We want to have high standards. So I don't want to just say how to be a high value woman. I want you to be a woman that's like high value, respects herself, self-confident, all of the good stuff. But to be confident, you have to own what you think and how you feel. You have to be good with your ability to like make decisions. So you can't be wishy-washy, you can't be all over the place, like you can't question yourself. You have to know exactly who you are and what you want. You have to have an extremely high level of self-awareness. So you fully take responsibility for yourself. You are not a victim. You never claim to be a victim, because the women that aren't victims, that take responsibility for themselves, they are self-empowered women. They just are. They are working on themselves. They understand their strengths. They understand their weaknesses. And as the truck is going by, they are working on all of them. They are not sitting around, again, playing the victim, the woe is me story, everything, nothing ever works out for me. Like, they're just not that kind of a woman. They are also very independent. Now, I don't want to say all of these things, and I don't want you to start thinking about like this alpha female. And I think we have this like stigma with the alpha female where just because she knows who she is and what she wants, it makes her so masculine. Now, she very much so wants to be in a relationship with someone she respects and that can take the lead, but she has to be able to trust them to take the lead. But a woman with self-respect is independent. She's not going to be codependent. Not that she's going to do everything for herself, but she is definitely going to be able to get stuff done. I think also with independence, like we look at a woman who's independent as, again, this alpha female, this woman who doesn't accept help from anyone else. And to me, independence is not at all about not accepting help. It's really just about getting stuff done. It's about knowing who you are. It's about knowing what you want. And it's about making those realities happen for yourself. And if that means taking help from someone in order to get that done, you do that. But you don't rely solely on another person. You definitely don't rely on another person to give you things like validation or make you feel like you're good enough. Like, you don't need outside sources to boost you up in order to kind of like uplift you and get you off to where you want to be. You know how to fill those voids. You know how to basically have really good self-love. The minute I think of a woman who respects herself is like the first thing that comes to my mind is boundaries. Boundaries, because you have boundaries, and I don't mean boundaries just with other people. You can't talk to me this way. This isn't acceptable. Okay, all those things are great. You have to know how you want to be treated and how a person should be talking to you and all those things, and you should be able to stand up for yourself, absolutely. But I also mean boundaries within yourself. Do you hold yourself accountable? Do you allow yourself to completely dump all over yourself and to make yourself feel bad? Do you talk nasty to yourself? Do you invalidate yourself? So a woman who has a really high level of respect for herself is a woman that is not going to only hold that person outside of themselves accountable and have boundaries with them, they're also going to do it with themselves. That is on another level of a healthy woman. It's on another level of a healthy human being, is someone who I'm not going to just make it all about all the people in my life who treat me bad and don't respect my boundaries and what's wrong with them. It is most importantly, first and foremost, about me. Do I hold myself to those standards? Am I giving myself, am I just nurturing myself too much and not giving myself a little tough love? Am I making excuses? Like, what am I doing wrong in this situation to do it better? And finding balance between self-reflecting and just blaming other people. We can't solely blame other people and hold them to these high standards and not ourselves. And we can't hold ourselves to these unrealistic expectations and not on anyone else in our life. For me personally, when I think of a woman who respects herself and loves herself and just feels good to go, there is an aspect of self-care that is just innately a part of her daily life, her weekly life. Like, she does not neglect herself. And even if she has like a little period or a little pattern of like, okay, I've kind of fallen off here for a minute, like I've kind of gotten a little too wrapped up in the relationship, the work, the kids, the whatever, that I haven't been able to find balance and start like centering myself again and get back to me, she at least knows that she needs to get back to herself. There are so many women that just dive right into everything else in life and not themselves. The problem with that is that when you are a giver in all these areas, you become depleted, and you have to be able to kind of refill that engine up and get that energy back where it should be. And if you don't ever take the time to really dive into self-care and what do you need and how to feel the best, then you're always going to feel depleted, and you're also going to start getting extremely resentful. This is where you start resenting your partner, your job, your kids, all those things, because all of those things are no longer fun. They're a chore, and it's because you're on empty. Both men and women, obviously, all of these can apply to. I'm just having this little like pep talk with my girls because I talk to women all day, every day, and so many are suffering from low self-esteem. And look, we all at times can suffer from low self-esteem. Hi, my name's Stephanie. I do this for a living, and I sometimes suffer with low self-esteem. Like, who doesn't, right? Like, who is not a little insecure, a little feeling weak, doubting themselves, like all of that stuff? Like, that's just human. I am here to just give you the pep talk. This is just the little boost that you need in order to kind of like get yourself going and get yourself in the right direction. This is where you watch these videos and you self-reflect on, what am I doing really well right now in terms of being a woman that has a lot of self-respect or confidence in herself, and what are the things that I know I'm not doing and I need to work on. So we always want to be growing. You need to constantly be feeding your mind. A woman who values herself and wants to take care of herself, has that level of high self-love, is always fostering that relationship through growth. She knows that she cannot do this on her own. She knows that there's way more for her to learn and way more for her to focus on. She knows that she's a human being and doesn't hold herself to these unrealistic expectations. One of the strongest aspects to really working on yourself, really loving yourself, and having that level of self-respect is that when you do go through difficult times, you know how to bounce back. And I don't mean that you bounce back right away and that everything's fine and oh my God, that didn't bother me whatsoever. Look at me go through that. No. I know that you know how to bounce back because you know what you should be doing in order to overcome what it is that you've gone through. That's all I mean. I am telling you, so many people go through traumatic things in their life, and we're all going to go through some kind of traumatic thing throughout the course of our life, and they're completely oblivious as to how that thing has actually affected them. So when I talk about wounds and healing from emotional wounds, and when I talk about it in my 9 weeks to emotional healing course, link down below, 50% off, go take advantage. When I talk about wounds, I'm not just talking about childhood wounds. I'm talking about wounds in general. If you are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, I mean, as long as you're alive, you are going to go through wounds, whether they're big ones or they're these little ones that continuously add up. If they're undealt with, unacknowledged, you have no idea how this experience or relationship or situation is now affecting you, you have no idea that you're being controlled by that trauma. So this woman understands challenges of life. She is not going to just neglect herself when she goes through something uncomfortable. She may not have all the answers, but because she is in a growth mindset and she is working on herself and expanding that perception and knowledge of what it means to be a human being, and that we're always growing, we're always learning, like she wants to learn from this experience. She is not going to let this experience completely pass her by and not gain something from it. I think one of the last things, and honestly, I mean, look, they're all important, but I think this one, it's funny because it ends with the way it started. I think you have to have self-compassion. You have to have a level of self-acceptance. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to understand that you're a human being and that you're not going to have it all figured out, and that there is no magic pill, magic answer of like, okay, I'm just going to do this and then everything's going to work out and I'm going to be totally fine for the rest of my life. No, you accept how life really works and you embrace that. You're good to yourself. You're kind to yourself. Yes, you may not be kind all the time. Yes, you may judge yourself. Yes, you might, crap on yourself here and there and be a little hard on yourself, but you own it and you try to do better next time. And those patterns, those unhealthy patterns, aren't as heavy as all the good stuff that you actually do bring to the table and all the positive changes that you have made within yourself. So you guys, please, 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 please watch this again. Send this to every woman, quite frankly, and man, that that really needs this information. And I think everyone could use a dose, a little boost me up of self-esteem. So guys, like I have mentioned, I think in the last video, is right now for the month of December, I'm doing 50% off all of my courses. I do this every year where I give you guys a chance to take all of my oldies, all of my tried and true courses that I still attest to this day you absolutely need. 9 Weeks to Emotional Healing, we all need that stuff. High Value Boot Camp, love, all about healing and rebuilding. Self-parenting course that we started maybe 2 years ago now, where it basically just gives you the play-by-play of how to actually do self-parenting with yourself every day. It teaches you the stuff that you didn't learn growing up that you should have learned, what it was supposed to feel like and what it didn't feel like, because I think that's very important to understand. Also, and I love my mindset makeover course. And if there's this course, literally no matter what you're going through at any point in your life, you could open up this course, look at all of it and go, that's what I need to hear today. That's what I need to focus on today. And that's why I adore that course, that no matter what you're going through, you don't need to be trying to heal. You don't need to be trying to goal set. You can just be like, let me open this up. This is what I needed today to kind of get me in a different mindset, to boost me up, to get me out of this funk, whatever that looks like. So guys, please take advantage. The code is Holly, not Holly, Holiday. I keep saying Holly. I keep saying Holly, and then I link down below Holiday, and everyone's like, which one is it? It's Holiday. I'll link it down below. So take advantage. Hope you guys are well. And now it's time to go. Bye.